Hey, what is up, everybody? It's Animac here for AnimeUproar. Welcome to another Rant Café 41 by my count. And in this one, we have a doozy, everybody. We are going to be ranting, discussing, and talking about the phenomenon that is the Death Note Netflix 2017 live-action adaptation. It came out 6 days ago, last Friday. It's been all the talk of the town. I'm really looking forward to this discussion. We got Anime Recon as our guest. We got Nux Taku as a guest, and Solmaka back again. What is up, people?
Everything's great.
Good. Let's do this.
Just finished the Death Note movie 10 minutes ago. I am ready.
Oh, okay.
You finished it 10 minutes ago. Okay.
Yeah, I saw this morning on his news video that we're going to be ranting about it. So I was like, oh no! And yeah.
Nux Taku actually watches my videos. Thank you, Nux. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm one of those 50-something thousand, 54,000.
Thank you, man. And I watched Nux's video. I watched your Yo Nux video. Hilarious. Always. You're always good for a laugh, Nux. Love you, man. Love your shit.
Here.
But yeah, this is going to be fun, guys. This is going to be fun. Some positive things, and welcome everyone in the chat as well. I point this way because my chat screen is that way, so you know I'm not just crazy. But basically, with this whole Death Note Netflix thing, I watched it when it came out the same day. Goes and saw it first, and he's like, just watch it. He didn't want to say anything to me, and I watched it. And yeah, you know, let's start with the good stuff. You know, the good stuff is I really enjoyed the 80s inspired music, but that's because I like synthwave, that type of music that's like, you know, like Stranger Things, 80s inspired type of music. I really enjoyed listening to it just like for fun. Other than that, I'm good with the good things. I don't know if anyone else has anything else to say.
Wait. Just the music and that's it? You're just saying the
on.
music is good and that's it?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Come on now.
That is such a horrid explanation.
Well, no, I'm just saying that's talking about the good things. That was it for me.
All right, Recon, Maka, we have to fill up the next hour.
Yeah.
He's done.
I think I'll go next. I'll go next. So, what I enjoyed about this movie most of all was the character Ryuk. Specifically for the voice actor. We all know his voice actor, the person who voiced the Green Goblin from Spider-Man 1. It's just crazy. I loved it. He was probably by far my favorite character of the series. Unfortunately, he didn't really have that much screen time in the film. I really wish he did have more screen time.
He also
like,
didn't
we could have
do
seen
anything.
him more. Yeah, that's correct. He didn't really do much compared
He
to
was
the
laughing
anime.
in the corner for the whole movie.
Laughing in the corner, like explaining to Light about the Death Note and all
He
the
didn't
stuff.
explain crap. It's written in the book.
Well, yeah, that's right.
He was sitting there with his, light up glasses in the corner the whole time.
Though he was my favorite of all the film. That's my explanation.
Okay, can we just there's so much
That's
crap.
even worse
Can
than
we
that.
start with the fact
What?
Ryuk apparently loves apples, and he eats like half the apple and then throws the rest away.
I was gonna say something
Dude,
about
look
that.
how
What's
much,
the problem? What the
look
fuck
how
is the
much
problem with that?
perfectly good apple is left on that stem that he drops. Like,
Wait.
really? You love
Okay,
apples?
that's
but
just
you're that
plain
hateful?
stupid.
That right there was like, this movie is not off to a good start.
Why
Yeah,
are you
and where were
complaining
the
about an
potatoes?
apple?
There were no potato chips in the whole movie.
I could live with that. I could live with no, because I'm sure they would have ruined that scene. But bro,
The potato chips were the original Death Note. They represent so much evil.
Oh gosh. Okay.
I hope you know I'm joking.
I get it. We get it.
Right. Well, I would have to say for me, I like the movie. So I know I'm probably the only one out of everyone that's talking about it at the moment that actually liked the movie.
No, I like this also.
Too
For me-
spooky like the movie.
For me, it was a better Light because he had more justification for why he wanted to seek out justice. He had more he stuck to his guns better than Light Yagami did. Because Light Yagami just, ruthlessly killing cops and stuff like that. And then it's like, wait, 1 minute. Aren't you becoming the thing that you said you want to get rid of? You know what I mean? Whereas this Light, he never wanted to kill no cops. In fact, he never killed any cops. Yeah, that was down to someone else. So for me, this Light was a better Light because he actually stuck to his guns. The only problem I had with this Light really was the ending, how suddenly he became kind of like a genius, whereas throughout he wasn't really a genius. There was no sign of him being like super smart or anything. You know, it didn't take a genius just to look on some kind of website for the most wanted and then just start picking names off of it. You know, so there was no like genius element throughout coming from him until right at the end, which just felt like a complete arse pull because, you know, there was nothing to back that up. Misa, or Mia, as she is now in this movie.
Just call her Mia because let's not sully the name of Misa.
What? Well,
Okay.
First of all,
Misa insult the original Death Note too. Is that fair game?
What?
Is insulting the original Death Note fair game too?
You can. Yes, you can compare it. Yeah,
in context of the movie.
Yeah,
yeah. Misa, say whatever you want about Misa, the original character. She's a good yandere character, and I'm not saying she's a smart character or a character I would want to have a relationship with, but she's a good yandere character in my opinion.
Yeah, but she's not a realistic character in the slightest.
She was terrible. Misa was terrible. There was nothing to her. She was.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. Okay.
No. I mean, what contribution did she bring?
Let me break down your logic. Okay. So the new Light is more relatable because his mom was killed by criminals and he has a motive. But Misa, who lost both her parents to criminals and was attacked herself, she's not a good character because she doesn't have a motive to be a fanatical supporter of Kira, who saved her, who actually brought justice to the criminals who got away with the murder of her parents and attacking her.
No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, what contribution did she bring to the series?
What do you mean?
What contribution did she bring to the series? Like, what was her worth in the series? What did she do?
Nothing.
No, it's not true. She represented a barrier, like a real life kind of realistic thing that could happen is that Light is this genius, right? And he tries to account for everything, but then you get this person who is anything but a genius, and yet she also gets this power, and now he has to deal with her. He can't just get rid of her. He has to deal with her. So it's like a realistic obstacle in real life. In real life, you got to deal with all sorts of people. They might stand in your way. You might want to try to turn them onto your side, all that kind of stuff. So I thought that, that was, if it was just Light working by himself, never having anyone else that he had to work with, accommodate, it would have been less realistic, if anything.
Yeah, but here's the thing. He was not working for himself. I felt that in the anime itself, I didn't like Mia at all. Same thing goes with the movie. I didn't like her as a character. But the entire aspect of how I felt about this is when Light told me about the Death Note. The entire thing about the killing, why Light has been killing all these terrorists and all this stuff, was just to impress her. That's how I felt. He was trying to impress her. He was trying to be the good guy just to impress the girl and trying to get her.
So the way I looked at this, first of all, as far as Misa and Mia, I didn't like Misa at all. I thought she was a terrible character, although I do see what she brought to the series. Mia managed to be worse somehow.
Thank you.
However, as far as the movie, I don't consider it to be in the same setting as the anime. Light has a totally different personality, and so does Mia, and that's the whole cast, because the parents were switched around. I doubt Light's father's name was Soichiro in wherever they were. And L's different too. L wasn't an emotional bundle. And Watari, how did he get Watari's name?
Okay, yes. Good point. Okay. So yes, so many issues with this movie. The fact that Light, who is supposed to be smart, and we're supposed to get that from the fact that he's doing other people's papers, right? He's writing papers for other people because he's so smart, he's doing it for money. We then see him, the first chance he gets, he gets this Death Note, this insane power that if anyone knew about it, they would immediately arrest him, take the Death Note, maybe do scientific experiments on him, like what the fuck is this? How is this guy able to kill people? he's the first opportunity he gets, he tells Mia, who he barely knows, about the power. Right then and there, you're like, this guy is an idiot. He's not a genius in any
Of course.
way.
So again, that's what I mean. He's not the light. He's not Light Yagami. He's Light Turner. He's the Jake Paul version of Light Yagami.
It's like I said in my comment. He is trying to pick her up. That's the entire aspect. He's telling her about the power. He's trying to impress her. That's what I said.
Well, we
Which
saw
really
that would be retarded. Like what?
The biggest mistake I think they made in the movie, as far as introducing Light, was that he was doing their tests. Because why were they trying to sell that he was a genius? I don't understand at all.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't think just doing someone's like paperwork means you're a genius. I mean, if you're good at maths, you're good at maths. That's it. It don't mean you're a genius, does it? You're just good at maths.
The tale of the Light live-action Death Note was the tale of Light, a kid with a boner.
Yeah, but I mean, you could see from early on, from when he got punched, that he was after impressing Mia. You could see that. You could see that. It was dumb that he would straight up, expose the Death Note to her, because you don't know if she's just gonna get you arrested or what. That was.
You remember that scene when he said the Death Note? She comes next to him. What's that you're holding? Oh, nothing. Oh, you don't want to tell me? No. I'm not gonna leave.
Oh,
no, don't go. I'll tell you what it is.
Like Lom King and some people in the chat are like, "Oh, Light was more relatable." Like, I don't relate to such stupidity. I don't relate to it, man. I don't know. Like, it just didn't work for me. Maybe it's because I have an expectation of Light supposed to be. He's supposed to be smart, and then maybe you're thinking in this movie he's not, and yet then you see at the end, actually, oh, by the way, he just pulled a genius move at the end. So yeah, they were trying to make him a genius, but they clearly, so something wasn't jiving with the movie. Another thing, Jojo Talks Too Much pointed this out, that someone on Facebook told him, it's like, Ryuk says, try to write my name in the Death Note. Everyone who's tried has only gone to 2 letters, and there's literally someone who wrote in the Death Note, beware of Ryuk.
Yeah, beware of Ryuk. He's not your friend. He's not your pet.
Yeah, but that was on the back cover. That wasn't on the paper.
Was it?
No, it was on a page. No, it was
on a page, if I remember.
Yeah, it's on the corner of a page. It was actually written. I mean, yeah, there's certain things like that you see and you think, wait, 1 minute, what's going on? And then same like how you're saying like about with eating of the apple. I mean, he should devour the apple completely. Yeah. Not even leave a stem. He should just devour it completely.
Was that in the anime as well? Like, beware of Ryuk, he's not your friend. Was that in the anime as well?
No.
Yeah, that's completely different. Then,
Again, I don't want to compare it to the anime. I think of it as a totally different cast.
Yeah.
There's this Death Note phenomenon that exists. That's the whole similarity. That's the only tie between them.
Yeah, and that's fair, but I still think it's a terrible movie, even with that. By the way, Gigi in the chat says, I feel like they tried to pander to emos in this movie. Yeah, definitely. It's like, oh man, life's not fair. I get bullied. I'm going to kill my bully. Yeah. And now this chick loves me. Yeah. But then there's consequences. No. And there it is. Death Note Netflix 2017. But another huge plot hole, Nux, you talked about it earlier. You mentioned it. How did Light know Watari's real name? So is his name just Watari? That's it? If so, why is he using his real name if he's supposed to be working with...
Most people don't have one name.
I know, and also he's working with L.
When he wrote his name, he wrote a last name also. I didn't see it because he was writing quickly, whatever, but there was a last name there. Okay, I don't know how he got it.
Yeah, but like, how do you get it? Why would Watari...
We saw how he got it, though. He was researching it, and he found Watari's name.
You don't look up these CIA dudes on the internet and get their name.
But that's exactly what he did. He looked him up, and then he wrote his name.
Yeah, but that's the thing. You're not supposed to be able to... Watari is supposed to be the right-hand man of a secret agent whose identity no one knows, the world's greatest detective. Just like Mark said,
he exists.
If you have a CIA agent... his identity, protecting his identity is his #1 priority. The government spends millions to keep their identities hidden. So imagine some teenager on his laptop being able to just crack who this guy is, his real name, and then use him to control him. And then we have L going into his whole complete emotional wreck stage. Him too, going from being an intelligent, calculating, foresees every move kind of guy to a complete emotional wreck. And also, even in the beginning, that scene when L first makes the public appearance, how inferior is that scene to the anime scene where he figures out that Kira is in Japan, like in episode 2, which is one of the greatest scenes in anime. This one, he just comes out and does like a speech. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna find you.
I'll be honest though, I really the one scene in the whole movie that I liked is when they propped up Light's father to speak, and he saw he didn't get killed.
Yeah. That was okay.
And I hate Mia that he's, oh, we have to kill him.
Yeah, no, but that made sense though. Mia saying that, it actually did make sense though.
From her perspective. Yeah. But
I know. Obviously,
he never made believe he was even fighting for justice, and Mia was just doing it to have a fun time. She didn't care if they were bad guys or not. It was there was no reason for him to kill people, as there was no justice dispute like there was in the anime.
Yeah, like Phantom's Wheel pointed out that we didn't have the kind of battle of wits with L and Light. Like part of it is because the movie is shorter, sure, but it just didn't come across. And also the whole Mia deciding to kill all the agents just like that. We don't know how many people these agents were actually investigating. For all we know, they could have only been investigating Light and the people in that immediate area, Seattle. And if you do that, you are clearly saying, basically, yes, you were on the right track. That's why we killed you. Which Light in the anime never would have done. He killed all the agents that were looking for all different Kira suspects all over the world, so they wouldn't know, or all over Japan, so they wouldn't know which suspect actually got to them.
Here's a big thing that disappointed me within the film, is that the moment when Kira was being introduced, which is Light's persona, in the anime, it was a lot more developed. It was slowly pacing, a lot more detail and depth were given. But in the anime, in the film, instead, it was put into like 1 minute of a montage of Kira killing terrorists and all this stuff, and then the people praying for Kira, like, oh, Kira's our savior. Yeah.
You're missing the best part. This was all happening while they're having sex.
Yeah, but I mean, that's a time constraint thing, though, isn't it?
It was
they ain't got as much time.
It was too short.
I didn't think that was a flaw. I mean, what are you going to do with an hour and a half?
No, I just felt it was a flaw. It was just too short. In a minute, in a montage for the film, but in the anime, it was much more developed. So that's that thing I didn't really like a lot.
Yeah, I mean, that stuff I can live with. But Philly Superman made a good point in the chat. He said that the Japanese adaptation was also short, but it still did a much better job, doing bringing out L and Light. And I really enjoyed the Japanese live action adaptation. It wasn't as good as the anime because it wasn't as long, but they were loyal and faithful to the anime. They made some changes, but you could definitely see these were these characters. You can make the argument that the Netflix guys tried to stay away from the original and just do a completely new thing. However, I think in itself it fails, because inevitably, on the one hand, we're comparing it to the original, and on the other hand, even if we didn't compare it to the original, we were just pointing out a whole bunch of plot holes that don't make sense. And someone mentioned in the chat that Mia seems to be kind of like half Misa, half Light in the thing. But yeah, like Soul, all the comments you have about Light not being relatable in the original, and he's not because I believe that he's a sociopath, highly intelligent, just bored with life until he finally gets a purpose. Before that, he has no purpose, doesn't know what to do with his intellect. But with Mia, she's just like this sociopath in the movie. She's willing to kill anyone. She wants power. How is that any better?
Well, it's worse, not better. And
Mia's Soul is arguing that it's more relatable.
Look, I had a whole discussion with Soul about Light one day last week, why he's a bad character in the Discord server. And I do think he's pulled off as a developed character. I just don't think he's a good character. And the premise of Death Note is Light gets an untraceable, unbeatable power. Now, go trace this guy. By default, if they were even close to equally smart, there's no way L should be able to track him down. It was blunder after blunder for the first 3 episodes that sort of evened the scales in Death Note. Light was killing people on student hours. Really? He was using his father's stuff so that they knew that he had to have information in the police department.
Yeah, but at that point, you can be like, yeah, he is a high school student. He's not a brilliant, criminal mastermind yet, right? So you can kind of understand it.
Well, he didn't pose the same tremendous intellect that Light did. That L did, sorry.
To be honest, L was kind of a pussy for the entire film.
I think L was probably the best character.
He was more like an evil genius. He was like
again, I'm not comparing him to the original L because I think of the movie as totally different. The only thing that was the same was the Death Note, and that Ryuk did nothing in both.
It is an original Netflix film, so they didn't really have
Except
to adapt
Ryuk did force Light into killing his first kill.
Yeah.
Or at least
he
convincing him.
manipulated them, yeah.
Light had zero motivation or drive for anything in the entire movie. And his name was Light Turner.
Ryuk, in the movie, he was much more like evil for the sake of being evil. Whereas in the anime, he was more like, I'm just bored, I want to have fun kind of thing. Which you can relate with more in terms of like, oh, he's this different creature from a different world. And to him, humans are just amusing. He wants to see what they're all about. And that's his motivation. Not necessarily good or bad, not black and white, just kind of interesting. Whereas in the movie, we don't know anything about Ryuk. We don't know anything about his background, about where he comes from, what his powers are. Shinigami, what are they? We don't get any explanation. He just seems to be like this evil boogeyman who screws you over.
It looks a lot like the original Mr. Freeze.
Yeah, well, I think it all comes down
tutu.
to time constraints, though, really. Because I mean, if you wanted the explanation of Ryuk in there, what would you take out then?
I would have put a 3-minute intro to the movie.
So yeah, but what would you have taken out then?
Sex scenes.
They were a little bit cringy,
but that's the Kira scenes though. So you take out the Kira part then, because that happened during the sex scenes, isn't it?
And like the other thing is, it's implied that Ryuk just goes from person to person and gets them to become Kira. And that he's done it before, because there was already pages on the notebook, yet no one figured out that anything was going on before Light got his hands on it. Ryuk was even like, oh, Light, you're not the right guy. I'll just give it to someone else, just give it up. It's like, why would Ryuk then give it to him specifically, not to a random person, but to him specifically in the classroom, and then be like, oh, no, I changed my mind. I'll give it to someone else.
He's trying to test him out. That's what he's doing. Like, if he's motivated to do this stuff, he's trying to test him out.
I mean,
the creator to the Netflix Death Note, he released news he's planning on making a second.
Yeah, he wants to.
No, but I mean, straight away after the first kill, Ryuk was like, oh, yeah, just don't write anything anymore. Give it a week. I'll take it off you. And
I think he was just saying that to pressure Light into doing it.
I don't know. I don't know if it was pressuring. It never felt like it was pressuring him. Anyway.
Well, I don't think he really particularly... He didn't show any interest in anything. He was just giggling the whole time in the corner.
Yeah, and the other thing is, I don't know what his deal was, because he was like, to Light, he was like, oh, if you're not up for this, I'll just go to Mia or whatever. But it's like, for what? Like, what do you want, Ryuk? What is your purpose? Like, we didn't get any of that. Shaved Tie says, he saw, or she saw, like, she thought it was weird. He thought it was weird that in the movie we have Light is looking at books, like Japanese culture books or whatever, history, and he sees like a picture of Ryuk as like a thing. So it's like people are supposed to actually know about him. He's supposed to be like a cult, like a mythical figure or something like that, I guess, in Japan. And yet, how did then not people realize that this is happening? Because people are supposed to, once they lose control of the Death Note, they're supposed to lose their memories, or do they in the movie? We don't even know. But the whole point is, if people know about this creature, Ryuk, if the Death Note is being used repeatedly by different users, how is it only when Light gets it that now it becomes a thing where people are like, oh, there's a Death Note? Before that, for who knows how many hundreds of years, no one ever realized something was off. So everyone else was way smarter than Light Turner, clearly.
Yeah, pretty much. Everyone was smarter than Light. He was the dumbest character in the movie. He pretty much told L, I'm Kira. And another thing that I found funny about the movie, you know how he picked his name, Kira?
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
because it's the same as his name, yeah.
First of all, before I get into anything, you do realize that him picking his name also sort of defeats the purpose of the movie. The idea was that they idolized him and that pushed him further. That's one. Two, he has such loyal worshippers that the guy's like, don't move that guy's light. And he just, that butcher guy whacks L with a brick. Yeah. Not even a second thought. Lord Kira. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, he's like, it's so funny. He's like, he just assumes it's true. Like, yeah, this guy is Kira.
He's Kira. Damn, bam. But and the third
he
thing
wasn't
is,
even like, what, really?
Kira,
Wait, what? This guy? You're just like,
Kira, and if you translate Kira to Japanese, it means glittering and shining. Okay, so I get how that means light. Correct?
no,
He
it was
says-
not even that. It was not even that. He was saying,
No, I'm telling you the translation. If you take a dictionary and look up Kira, it'll say glittering.
But the way they explained it in the movie, from what I remember, he said that in Russian or something, Kira means light, which I don't even think it does. But in Japan, Kira is how they colloquially say killer. So that's why
Now-
he chose.
Yeah,
I was
that's
about
what
to
he
say
said.
that's
Keller, yeah.
incorrect. That's a
That's it.
transliteration. That's not Japanese. They can't pronounce L's, so they say Kira, and they can't put consonants at the end of a word. That's why it's Kira. That's how they pronounce killer.
No, I know, but and I agree with if what you're saying is true about the translation, that would make more sense. But no, they try to explain it like, oh, we'll throw people off and make them think I'm Japanese because I'm using a Japanese colloquialism for killer.
But it's not even a Japanese word for killer. It's Japanese for glittering. And glittering is from Boku no Hero Academia. There's that belly button guy.
Yeah.
He's the real
You're
Kira.
right. You're right, Nux, that in the original, it is the people who start noticing. So it's people who online and stuff start noticing things that criminals are getting killed, and they're like, who is this? And then they give him like online the name Kira as like it's like he emerges through popular belief, and then he just kind of carries on that mantle that people on their own organically came up with. In this movie, he tries to like dictate this, and like, I'm going to be known as Kira, but it doesn't make any sense why.
I'm Kira. I'm making a website. Don't worry. They won't track that.
No, I know, because he's such a great hacker, right? With his laptop and Mia and
Alienware laptop, right?
No, he made a website, and then all the people gave him suggestions on who to kill. Kill him, kill her, kill him. And what if they're fucking lying?
And she's like, yeah, do it.
Yeah, just do it.
yeah,
Yeah, and what if they're lying?
That's why he didn't do it. That's what he said. That's what Light said. Light said, "Oh, we can't trust this. What if it was someone who just slept with the next guy's like girlfriend?" And then
Yeah,
he just
no, it was better. And then she says, no, but I want you to kill him. And he's like, I don't want to. And she's like, well, then no sex for you. I'll kill them all.
No, that's what she said.
No, he didn't. He
She
didn't.
said, what if some other guy slept with me? She was like, what if some other guy slept with me? And then
And he
was
said,
like,
I'll kill them.
I'll kill him, yeah.
The complete opposite. Again, like, you guys don't want to compare to the original, I get it, but it's the complete opposite of the original Light, who was completely emotionally unattached to any individual, only set, trying to achieve his goal. Everyone was expendable, including his own family. So it's completely different. And also, yeah, it was Mia. So she's supposed to be smart, right? She's supposed to be the smart one, Light, not necessarily.
Not the smart one. She's the psycho. That's pushing things
Yeah,
forward.
yeah, she's the one manipulating and stuff.
Yeah, but
That's
she's trying to
all.
manipulate, but she's the one that's like, hey, we should just kill people off a website where people propose. And Light's like, they could just make that up because they don't like the people, right? He's like, well, I don't know.
Well, it didn't stump her. She just didn't care.
Yeah, but he never ended up taking like names off that list and started killing people.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, man. Because that's what I mean. I liked him because he
was a good
he
psychopath.
he stuck to his guns, which I liked. No, he never killed the cops. As far as he was concerned, he only killed people that deserved to die, that were on the most wanted list. That's it.
Except for Watari.
Yeah,
Huh?
except for Watari.
Yeah,
Oh,
the thing
yeah,
is,
except for him.
Mia is
Never
the one
meant to
who
kill
killed Watari. She
He
wrote
never
him
meant to
something
kill. Yeah, he
after
never
her.
meant to kill Watari.
Yeah.
Remember, he said that if he took out the page and burnt it, then Watari would live, and that's what he was aiming to do. And then when he got to the Death Note, the page was missing.
It was torn out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
by the way,
no,
Jojo,
he never
in the
intended
chat,
to do that.
Jojo talks too much in chat. I'm not sure what you're referring to, man. If you could repeat what exactly you were talking about there. Yeah, that whole thing with the burning the page, that was complete ass pull too. Because it's like, oh yeah, if you burn the page with a name, he won't die. But it's only one name. Only one name.
And no one's done it before him. I mean, there are thousands of names in that book.
Oh, wait, so in a page, you can only burn one name in a page, right?
Yeah.
Is that
No.
is that the way it works?
I thought
Or
it
is
was
it just one name for the whole entire book?
Yeah, I thought it was the whole book.
Yeah,
Is it the whole book or just one name per page?
I think it's one name can be destroyed per the whole book.
Right, and no one tried to do this before.
I don't know, but they never had enough time to cover that, did they? Yeah, I mean, you can
Although,
pick forward that if you want, but it's
let's
just.
say, I did like the ending. I thought the ending was pretty good.
What
Left
no,
it-
I liked what I liked at the ending was the actual very end. I liked
Yeah,
that.
the last 10 seconds of the movie.
Yeah. That was
Where you don't know exactly what happens.
No, I figured that he did do it, and that's it.
Well, I would have thought so too, but first of all, we know that L says, I don't kill anyone, whatever, and maybe he had enough integrity to not kill him. And second of all, he's planning on making a sequel.
Yeah, well, maybe he
don't work without characters. And L isn't becoming the antagonist.
Yeah, well, L would probably become a better Kira than Light.
Yeah, except he wouldn't kill anyone.
Can I talk about the ending? I felt that the ending of the Death Note live action was pretty dissatisfying compared to the anime.
What?
Really?
Yes,
I
that's
thought it
how.
was good.
That's how.
Why?
No,
I disagree with you.
It wasn't good at all. It was
Why?
almost like a cliffhanger.
Why is that bad?
Because we saw at the very end L taken out a page of the Death Note from a calculus book, and then he was about to write Light's name so he can kill him, but it just didn't happen.
And Ryuk came and he says, Ryuk, what are you doing? And his fathers didn't even wonder who he was talking to. And did no one find that strange? He's talking to Ryuk. Ryuk, what are you
No,
doing?
the thing is, if L ended up killing Light in that scenario, that would have been a good ending. It's like, yes, he finally got his revenge, but no, it just left off like that. Boom. That is an automatic
If you would have
cliffhanger.
seen Light die, I think the ending would have been worse.
No.
I think they did a really
he
great
should've
job
died.
with the ending.
No, it was a cliffhanger, to be honest. That's how I felt.
Either way, anyway, Light is screwed. Either way, anyway.
Yeah, well, they wanted it to be a cliffhanger because, as we mentioned, the creator wants to have a sequel. So he wants people to be like, "Oh man, what happens next? We need that sequel," because that's what he wants.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's already screwed either way. His dad knows. His dad knows, and obviously, like L knows. So if L was to ever bring it to the cops, his dad would back him up. Yeah, I mean, so either way, he's gonna get
father
arrested.
also knows right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. His dad already knows as well. So either way,
the
he's
thing is-
screwed.
Yeah, but his dad is like fine with it. He was like asking him, "Who are you right now? Are you Kira or are you my son?"
Like,
Like,
I
and
mean,
I'm
if
your
they
son, and then
if they
daddy
do-
says, I love you.
if they do a continuation, at the end of the day, all they need to do is pass the Death Note onto some other new random person, and that's it. It's done.
In the original anime manga, Soichiro, the father, is much more like kind of, I guess, honor bound and much more likely to be against Kira and against Light if he is Kira. In the movie, the father was much more defensive of Light, much less likely to suspect Light to be
Well,
Kira.
he was
in the
his
first
only
place.
family to defend him.
And like Gozen actually liked this part, like he attacked L and stuff like that, because Gozen was like, well, I feel like this is more realistic, a father being protective of his son. And also
It doesn't mean he can beat up random people. It's like, I think your son's Kira. Oh yeah, well, I'm gonna break your face.
yeah. But he also his wife was killed by that guy, right? And now Light, with the power of the Death Note, was able to correct that crime. So I could see this father in this universe being more sympathetic to L.
Yeah, but that's not a bad thing. It's a different person.
No, yeah, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just commenting that could be the way they go in the sequel, where he knows but doesn't necessarily expose Light.
Yeah, I'm good with that. I don't mind a different cast. I would have preferred it if they would have given them different names, like Mia and Light Turner. If they would have named them totally different people, and they would have had a slightly little different dynamic. You have the same Ryuk, you have the same notebook, you have a different cast. and that's it. And as far as the anime, when they wanted to make Light look smart, they made him actually outsmart people without mind control. Mind control doesn't show how smart you are. You have a book. You can control someone for 2 days until they die. Try to lose a fight, right?
Yeah, like everything was just like, I'm just gonna control, and he can control people. He can get info out of them, like he did with Watari. He just like calls them. I don't know this information. I'll go find it out. Thanks. Yeah, cool. And yeah, like Cole mentioned this.
Why didn't he tell Watari to kill L and then commit suicide?
Watari is supposed to be an alias again, so that is such a plot hole for me that he just found out his name.
No, 100%. Watari was the reason. The original reason for Watari was it was W. He was the W of coming out of that orphanage. Whatever. That's not the point. So, assuming that he found out his real name because it's on Google, like most things, and he found Watari's name, and he controlled Watari to find out secret information that was in driving distance, and all that. Why didn't he tell Watari, okay, Watari, you have 2 days, shoot Light in the face, and then shoot yourself in the face? Why couldn't he do that?
Yeah, but he didn't want Watari to die. That's the thing. He wanted to
Okay,
burn
so he
the
could have
book.
said shoot Light, and then he could have burnt the page. Shoot L. His point
No,
was to kill L.
if Watari didn't kill himself, people would kill him. He didn't want him to die. That's why
He
told
wanted
him.
L dead, and he had mind control power of everyone that knew L.
So
There's
if
no reason why he couldn't mind control
let's
anyone to
say
kill
this.
L.
If Watari killed L and then Watari just lives, what do you think will happen to Watari for killing L?
No, I think
He didn't care that much about Watari. He wanted L dead.
I see what
I
you're
know
saying.
you wanted him
Yeah.
dead.
Yeah, no, Nox has a point. Nox does have a point.
Give me a sec, guys. Just people in the chat are saying that Matsuda was needed, and yeah, like we needed like a more of a comic relief character too in the film, but because it felt like they were just trying hard and taking themselves too seriously. But again, then it probably would have been a longer film.
Again,
However, I think I get what you're saying, Nux, because Light's whole focus was to get L's real name so that he can kill him. But you're saying he could have just gotten Watari to shoot L in the face.
Yeah,
Right? Or he could have gotten his father to do it or someone else at the police department.
100%. And then he could have burnt the page. L was there. He was in front of hundreds of people giving a speech. He couldn't find out one guy in the town's name to go kill L. Go drive your car into the podium. You know, really?
No, but Nux, you're missing the point.
Really?
Light didn't
Oh.
want Watari dead. Do you not understand
Stop
that? He
with
didn't
Watari.
want him dead.
Hey,
no, you're missing the
about
point,
Watari.
Recon. You're missing the point.
You're
At the end of
missing
the day, He's saying that, for example, he could have used Watari, made Watari shoot L, and then once that's happened, he could then burn the page. Like he could give it a set time in it. So Watari shoots L at 8 p.m.
And then a day later,
and
he
then,
died.
Yeah, and then a day later he dies. Once the news is then broken out, oh, Ellie's dead. That's it. Boom, burn the page, done.
Yeah, but wouldn't people then investigate and find out Watari is the killer?
Yeah, but
why
but he wouldn't have any.
Okay,
there
so
would-
why
there'd be
couldn't
nothing-
Light find any random bozo in the city and tell him kill L when he's giving his speech in front of
Now
hundreds
that
of
is a
people?
good point right there.
That's not a better point. You're
no, it's the
misunderstanding.
same.
Why
It's the
does
same
Light
thing.
care about Watari?
Yeah, but at
Because
the end of the day, even if
L.
Recon, even if like he kill him, yeah, he kill L, yeah, and then they want to investigate Watari, there is no evidence for them to link Watari to Light. There's none. He's under influence of this mystical power. There's, he never even needed to meet him face to face or talk to him. So there's no connection. All he'd be like is, I don't know what happened. I just suddenly come under the urge to shoot him, and that's it. Oh my God!
Yeah.
What have I-
Further than that, Mia, who also had a ton of time alone with the Death Note, could have written anything like that. What are you going to defend about that? She has mind control powers now.
But
What do
yeah,
you say, Rick?
I mean that.
Mia has no ethical qualms about killing or having Watari killed. We know that.
And neither does Light. But even if you're going to make believe that Light does care, Mia does not. Correct, Recon?
Yes, I agree.
So she could say, Watari kills L. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So another thing, remember at the end when L got arrested? Yeah?
Yes.
And they put him on a plane to fly him away because they thought he was a raving lunatic because Light was in a coma and people were dying.
Hmm.
And then he says, "Wait, stop the plane!" The last time I heard of people arrested, they can't really do that. You can just stop a plane and leave and go break into some dead girl's house to find the calculus. Really?
No, yeah, like I said,
He's on his way to jail, damn it.
some people are saying, yo, this is really different than the anime. Like, yeah, it's very different than the anime. They changed the rules of the Death Note, they changed the characters setting, but I think that even taking that aside and looking at the movie just as a separate story, whether in that same universe or whatever, it still doesn't work because there's so many plot holes and so many things that were an issue to me. Like, I understand that in this one, Light had more like morals. He didn't want to kill innocent people. He wanted to go out of his way not to, which is something that in the original Death Note, I would have liked Light more as a character, like as a person. If he did this as well, I would have related to him more. But that doesn't mean that I think in the original Death Note, Light is a bad character. I just think he's a sociopath, but that's his character. I can't relate to that part of him because he goes too far. But, like, I understand that that's his character. This Light was trying to be more relatable, but again, like, so much stuff went wrong with the movie.
What was relatable about this Light? The fact that he didn't want to kill innocent people, that makes a person relatable?
It wasn't like he had second thoughts, that he didn't want to kill innocent people.
Okay, can you tell me one tell me one personality trait that he had throughout the entire movie, aside from wanting to bang Mia?
Okay, well,
that was the entire aspect.
This because Soul Maka is defending this Light as more relatable. So Soul.
I like how you do that, Animac.
It's the awkward giggle when there's nothing to say. We know it.
Yeah, no.
We all know you're defending the shittiest Light in Death Note.
Yeah, no. He had plenty of characters, right? I mean, he had the whole like emo personality originally, I would guess. He did have a sense of justice though when he came to it, since like his feelings towards his dad when he was talking about his mother's killer, and then also again when it came to the discussion.
Can you please explain what you mean by justice?
Yeah, I will do if you don't cut me off. Thank you. But yeah, his feelings towards the killer of his mother, like the argument we saw him have with his father, and then also him like again sticking to his guns, making the point about that website that came up to Kira, mentioning like lists of people's names that random people deem worthy to kill. Yeah, so again, those two facts right there show that he has a strong sense of justice. And that
you mean he has a sense of morality, not justice? He doesn't give a crap about justice. He wanted his mother's killer dead because he had a personal problem with him. If he would have killed someone else's mother, he wouldn't have cared at all. That's not justice. Justice is fairness. It's a way to find a balance of, to be fair in the world. That's justice. He had personal.
Let's not get into that because that's John Rawls says justice is fairness. But then there's many different interpretations of justice. I prefer the Platonic form of the good version of justice. What say you to that, Nox Taku?
Yeah, but that's not Light Turner either.
Yes.
Light Turner is not about justice.
I'm trying to
impress a girl.
You can make
the argument. You can make the argument that he sees what happened to his mother. That was an injustice. That was his first thing, was to correct that. But then he's like, I don't want this happening to other people, because he mentions that. So I want to help other people make sure that they don't deal with the same type of injustice. So I think an argument can be made. You can say they did it well or not.
He did not care about that it was unjust for his mother to be killed. He just cared that it was his mother that was dead.
Well, I'm saying that's debatable, but in the end, they didn't do a good job of showing it, in my opinion, anyways. Philly Superman says they can't kill another person. It is a rule in the Death Note. So he's saying you can't just say, "What? There you go, kill another person." But I didn't see that in the movie. Did we actually see that in the movie, saying you can't kill another person?
Complete mind control over the person for 2 days.
Well, no, we saw. I don't know. We saw one kind of like that because the way Mia killed all the cops, she had one cop write down the names of all the other cops in the Death Note. So
yeah,
that is killing them.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's essentially killing them. Thank you, Maka.
Yeah. And also to add to that, your point, Nux, about the whole, get someone to kill someone else. That's the same way that Light Yagami could have got rid of L.
No, because there was no rule of mind control. He was just able to control the circumstances of death, not the actual person for 2 days.
Yeah.
And also, in the anime, he killed them with heart attacks for the most part because they would think that heart attacks are the only way he can do it. So he always has an ace up his sleeve. Here it was a lot of playing around. Decapitation, steak knives sticking into people's throats.
Yeah.
And no one thought it was fishy that the kid got the ladder chopping his head off. That doesn't happen. Light, what's her name? Naomi? No?
Naomi
From the anime.
Yeah.
Naomi
What?
Misura.
Yeah, her.
Misora, Naomi.
She
Who hung herself.
Right, so she figured it out. She would have figured out that it was the ladder. That's pretty much what she did in the anime, and he killed her.
What about the chase scene with Light and L?
That was so Western. Oh my god! I knew there was going to be a chase scene. I knew it.
I knew you would say
That was like one of
There
those.
was cars.
It was like one of those '80s Dirty Harry scenes. Like they're just like running.
But here's
And they have like two
slide over the car bonnet. Slide over the car
But
bonnet.
here's what I didn't understand in that scene. After L caught up to Light, there was like this random guy who just came out the door, and L was like, "This is Kia right there. I'm here to investigate." And he just bashes L in the head.
Thank
And
you.
then-
We needed that said for a second.
And then he was like, "Are you Kira?" And Light was like,
Yeah.
And then he just runs off. I was like, "What?" I didn't understand that bit at all. I was like,
Get
"What
with
the
the
fuck
times
was going
we've
on?"
We went through this.
Did you?
Yep.
We did.
Jojo says that for him, Light's motivation was not justice; it was vengeance, teen angst, and lust, which is true. And then Jojo points out that Light did not necessarily the director could not make this interesting to us. Like, okay, that's his motivation, but he didn't make it interesting for us. And I would agree. Like, it wasn't like a lot of layers in the anime were missed in the movie. Like the stuff you guys are talking about, like the different methods of killing, it was all glossed over, which makes it worse. And then also it's like, I don't really feel that other than, doubting himself and all this other stuff that Light had, I didn't feel related to him, necessarily. I thought
he had no personality, zero, aside from wanting to bone Mia. And Mia was the worst thing ever written.
What? No, well, I don't know. I liked Mia as she did play a significant role.
Okay, she played a role. Yeah, and she made Yuno look normal.
She basically Mia was like your classic Kirsten Stewart character, right?
Don't get the reference.
Kirsten Stewart, like she's the one that played like the Bella in Twilight and all those other teen movies.
Yeah.
No one
Okay,
understands.
well, as far as a character though, she really was pretty horrible though.
Yeah, but I thought she was okay. She was like
character.
she helped the plot basically move forward. Yeah, man.
Well, I don't know. To me, it was all like just teen angst. It's like, oh, the adult world doesn't care about us. Let's get our revenge to the Death Note.
She's like the worst version of Yuno Gasai.
It's
I
like
just said
fucking
that. Seriously.
Angelina. It's like Angelina Jolie in Hackers. That's what she was like.
No, not nearly.
That's what she was like. Yeah.
Jojo is asking you, Soul, name 3 personality traits of Mia.
Psycho. I got you on one, Soul. You do too.
Yeah.
Psycho Yandere.
I don't know. 3 personality traits.
Are you
She
looking
was
up
not-
personality traits?
I don't think he is.
I don't know.
To be
I
honest,
mean, no. I'm trying to think.
I would say she wasn't really interested in Light in the first place.
Not
She
at
was
all. She was
interested
interested
in him
in
because of the Death Note.
corruption.
Yeah, she was power hungry and
that's
psycho.
it. Yeah.
Yes, she was.
Power
She
of
only
Psycho.
wanted the Death Note. That's why she was after him.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, she felt like it gave her I don't know, reason or something.
Well, you needed her to progress the plot because there was no reason for Light, who has he doesn't give a damn about justice, to actually use it. So something needs to happen, right?
Yeah. So yeah, sorry about that, kids.
It's alright.
Seriously, I'm not beating them. But yeah. For Mia, I don't know. I don't think she had many character like traits,
Speaking
whatever.
of
But I
beating your
mean,
kid, I saw an article on Twitter. This has nothing to do with Death Note, by the way. That a feminist lady broke her son's leg to make him equal to her daughter.
What the
oh,
fuck?
shit, that's crazy.
You ever heard of something like this?
That's
I
crazy.
hope that's like a scam. I hope that's like one of those, you know.
Probably in America though, isn't it?
Probably.
Anyway,
back to Death Note.
Oh yeah, another one. I've got another one. Self-centered. That's what she was.
Self-centered. You looked that up, didn't you?
I did. I looked up negative personality traits, and I found one.
Yeah, but self-centered, power-hungry, they're very related. Right?
Yeah.
I think everyone's self-centered and just varies on how self-centered.
Yeah.
So you have to pick a character trait that not everyone else has
Yeah, but I mean, like
by default.
I mean, if you say like, oh yeah, every character needs 3 character traits to be a good character, then we could say, would L, what character traits did he show?
L?
L,
He
yeah,
had a
3.
sense
Can
of
you name
justice,
3?
which is why he didn't want to kill people. Okay, sense of justice. I would count that.
Intelligence, quirkiness.
Quirkiness.
Yeah,
Why
he's just
quirkiness?
like a weird, social outcast type of character that you can be like, oh, this guy's interesting.
He's the type of guy, he doesn't give a crap about anything. He's, focused on his goal and he doesn't really care what's going to happen. He asks Watari to sing to him. I mean, that's not your average guy.
That was weird. That moment was weird.
That was weird. That was the moment that I was like,
eh?
you have to look around, hope no one's watching you watch this movie.
Like, Watari-chan, please.
No. The thing is, I thought like he was joking, and then Watari just went sure and just broke out into song, and I was like, wait, what's happening?
I even forgot about that moment.
That was the weirdest moment of the movie. Not that it was bad necessarily. It was one of the better moments.
That was just strange.
But it was weird.
Strange.
That was the cringe.
What do you remember what he was singing?
It was a pretty crappy song.
I don't know.
Lazy-kun says PewDiePie would have made a better Eugene Light. I don't know who Eugene is, but yeah, PewDiePie would have been a better Light Turner, that's for sure. It's like, what's up, bros? It's PewDiePie.
He's like, what's about it's Lion?
No, he'd be Mia.
To be honest,
Although-
why call the main character a light?
PewDiePie would be a sick light, and Mia would come and say, all right, it's time to kill everyone. And he'd say, we can't kill everyone. We can't kill the Whammons. We must respect the Whammons.
Okay.
Right, squad fam?
To be honest, that would change the entire Death Note and turn it into like some parody with PewDiePie. Death Note parody.
Yeah.
Caster says I would have been a better Light. Yes, I can do emo hair. I can like put my hair down and just be like really emo and stuff. Like no one understands me. Kill them all.
I think there's a fine line between EO and blazing faggot that you somehow missed.
What did you guys think about the moment when Light started to scream in the classroom?
That was
Okay,
funny.
I was waiting for someone to bring it up because I see everyone making fun of Light about that. But honestly, if a 9-foot tall, big, monster-looking creature starts causing whirlwinds in a classroom and locking you in, I would be crying like a bitch.
Yeah, I mean it's a normal reaction, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
I mean, like the weird reaction is like Yagami.
Did you think he was a little bit too overboard?
That is weird.
Although
no. I thought it was brilliant. It was brilliant. I didn't think it was.
He has like a totally straight face and then just for like a second, runs away.
Yeah. No, I thought it was good. It was a good scene. I mean, it's realistic. You know what I mean? Who the hell is gonna look at something like that and just go, yeah, okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with him screaming. I think that's a minor thing in terms of like the plot, but it's like the plot holes is what takes me off.
Right.
Like the stuff that's
If it
like,
was a
man,
good series that had nothing to do with the original anime, I would have been fine. A good movie, nothing to do with Light or Misa or anything, that would have been great.
yeah, they should have just not even had the names Light and L then. But because they did, even though it doesn't make sense to have a guy named Light in North America, that itself proves that they were trying to make an adaptation, so they're inviting comparisons.
Yeah, but I mean that was my point before. Remember when we first spoke about like the adaptation getting done? That if it's changing setting, then everything should change to fit that setting. You know what I mean? And then that would have made it a lot more better. So I totally agree with you there.
Honestly, if they would have made whoever got the Death Note to be a more normal person that didn't have a, didn't have Mia on the side, and he was willing to kill people he didn't like. He was not a moral person. He did not have a sense of justice, and he was willing to kill people he did not like or did something to him. And that ended up getting him in a situation where they needed to find him. I would have been way more okay with that than Light, who's a passive-aggressive asshole, with Mia saying, look, you want the puss?
Someone says for Neverworld should have been Ryuk.
Well, I can see the similarity.
All right, guys, stop getting mean. Stop getting mean in here. So what are our...
So I can't say that Double Four anime would be the perfect Light.
Let's go into final verdicts. And guys in the chat, if you want to do like a sentence or two of your own final verdict on the movie, you can do that as well. But we'll do our own kind of like final verdicts here on the panel. And I'll go with Soul first.
Okay, well, I'll say that overall, I did like it. I know it has its flaws, but every movie does. But I did look at it separate to the world that we already knew. So yeah, I was able to like it. I'll give it a 6 out of 10.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, are we doing recon first so it doesn't do the inhaling thing?
Yeah, recon.
No, sure, you know what? I'll do it. Fine.
No, don't do it. Don't do the inhaling thing.
Okay. I won't do it. I won't do it. So, even though the film did not follow the anime adaptation at all, and it was a Netflix original, I still find it enjoyable. I would give it a 10 out of 10 for this movie. There were flaws, just like Soul said, but it did manage to keep me until the very end to watch it all and say it was good. But dissatisfying ending that killed it, cliffhanger, and it's gonna have another sequel. No, to be honest, it wasn't the best thought. I'm just wondering, how is the sequel gonna go now?
The real problem is that Light didn't have a harem.
Well, no.
I mean, anything would be better than just having...
But to be honest, here's the thing. With the sequel, how is the sequel gonna go? It's like Death Note
there will be
Season
3
2.
girls that want Light.
It's like they're about to do Death Note Season 2 when there is no Death Note Season 2 anime. So yeah, I don't know.
No. Well, I mean, if you look at the Japanese versions, they done 2 movies to cover the original like story, and then they done a third movie. They done a third movie that just covered L and a certain case that he did, which is actually separate to the actual main story.
I read the book actually.
So yeah.
Well, yeah. On to you, Soul. On to you, Nux.
Fuck you, Nux.
Oh, yeah, this is it, right? Okay, so honestly, I would give it a 5 out of 10, and all 5 points are because it did not slow down in the show, in the movie. There were no parts that really nothing was happening, but aside from that, plot holes galore and character flaws abundant.
Yeah, I personally would give it, I would agree with Original Ink in the chat. I would give it a 4.5 out of 10 tops. Like I said, I enjoyed the music, but everything else, even taken as its own movie, it's just like there's too many plot holes. Maybe if I didn't know anything about Death Note previously, I would have overlooked those plot holes because I wouldn't know what's going on. But then again, it's like, should you not know what's going on because everything is just thrown at you?
If you didn't watch the original anime, you would be lost like crazy. You would have no idea what was happening.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Watch the anime first, and then watch the movie.
No, just watch the anime. Skip the movie.
Yeah.
You don't just have to skip the movie. Just watch it just see if you like it.
I'm hoping that people who watch the video, watch the movie, are gonna be like, I never heard of anime or Death Note or whatever. Are gonna be like, this seems kind of interesting. I'll check out the anime and then realize, oh shit, the anime is way better, and then actually get into anime that way. That would be cool. I don't know.
I'd say do it that way. I'd say watch the movie first and then watch the anime.
Well, it depends who you're talking to, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you ain't seen either in it, then I'd say watch the movie first and then watch the anime.
That's a good way to.
That way you're judging the movie fairly.
I mean,
because you're not looking at.
I'm sure
like,
we were all in the same position at one point or another, but my dad would make terrible fun of me for watching cartoons. You know what I'm talking about.
I'm pretty
right?
sure everyone's parents
no.
do that.
Yeah.
No, I don't. No, I don't.
That's because you're the dad, Maka.
Yeah, no, but my parents had never been like that. Like my dad gave me like tons and tons of comics to read. You know,
No,
we'd
my
sit
father.
down
He
watching
said it in
like
a joking way. He wouldn't.
No, we'd sit down watching like Spider-Man.
I don't want to
and
see.
Batman and stuff. You know, the cartoons, like animated series. My
He would
dad
come
loved that
in
stuff.
and he would see me watching anime and he would be like, "Oh, look, it's Buzz Lightyear." And I would, no. But
My mom.
so I remember once we were about to watch a movie. We were on Netflix and we're looking through to find something to watch, and didn't really find anything good. And at that point, I think they had the Dragon Ball Evolution movie on Netflix, but I avoided it like the plague.
Thank you.
But I said, okay, fine. I know you don't want to watch cartoons, but one episode of a show. And he said, okay. And I showed him the first episode of Attack on Titan because it ends very nicely. And from that moment on, he did not make fun of my cartoons.
Yay!
Wow, way to go, Attack on Titan. Yeah, baby.
So I'm saying that because showing a really dramatic, an anime episode that can get you like, holy crap, this is nothing like Dora the Explorer.
Yeah, and I think the first 2 episodes of Death Note are amazing. The first 2 episodes, like that cliffhanger at the end where L makes his entrance at the end of the second episode.
Exactly.
I feel
Right.
like if you watch those 2 episodes and you don't want to watch the rest of the show, there's something wrong with you, not with the show. That's my
Dora the Explorer is the best anime.
Yeah. So, no, but I said Attack on Titan because the first episode ends really well. As far as first episodes, Attack on Titan is a closed picture. Whereas Death Note, you need 2, and I knew I was not going to convince him to watch 2.
Yeah, you do need the 2, but the 2 together are really good, and it is only like 40 minutes together, right? I liked Caster for Life's rating. He gave it a double 4 anime out of 10, and double 4 anime actually made a video saying he liked the movie. Now I don't know if it's his classic trolling video or if he actually liked the movie, but he did. So yeah, if you guys like the movie, you are on double 4 anime side. I hope you're happy.
No.
Wow, I've yet to hear a worse, insult coming from you.
Nux, why don't you make a video reviewing the Death Note film and making your sarcastic jokes about it? That's a good video.
Oh,
Well, you see, I only do sarcastic videos on generally decent anime where I could point out flaws in a sarcastic way. I don't need to be sarcastic. There's no one that'll be defending it in the comments. I'm not worried. But I do have something that works.
yeah, I know it could be funny to make a joke out of this movie, but it's already a joke, Nux, right? So that's the problem.
I told you what I was planning on doing with it, and I really am seriously considering it now that I've watched it.
Yeah, you told me you were considering, but you didn't.
Well, that's because I told you I was considering it before I watched
confirmed it. You need
We
to
shall see.
confirm it. Are you going to do it?
Yes.
Yeah, well, it depends if I can write the whole script still today.
All right. Fair enough.
All right, well, keep us posted, guys. And of course, be sure to check out Nuxtaku's channel, link in the description. Anime Recon as well, his channel is in the description. Soul Maka is working on setting up his channel, so once he gets that set up, we'll definitely link to his channel as well. Great dude, Soul Maka. Always helping the cause all over there on Discord. And if you want to join our Discord, you can do that as well, link in the description. And yeah, guys, thank you so much for being part of this crazy rant on Death Note Netflix. Like I said, not a big fan, but we had some diverse opinions here, which is good. And also drop a like if you like Rant Cafes, and feel free to suggest future topics in the comments once the video is posted. Does anyone want to say anything else before we wrap it up, guys?
I love you all.
Thank you, Recon.
Perfect. That Recon's was too good. I don't want to best it.
Okay, well, I love you all, I guess, is our final verdict on this one. So yeah, thanks guys, and until next time, we're back again next week, Thursday, 5 p.m.
Until next time, stay
See
awesome,
ya.
bros.
God bless. No, stop. I'm gonna mute you guys next time.